In Indiana, our state legislature is called the General Assembly. So, like we did with the governor, we're going to take a look at the legislative branch of the Indiana government and kind of compare it to what we saw with the federal government. This picture is called the Spirit of Indiana. It's a mural that hangs in the chambers for the General Assembly up at the State House in Indianapolis. So it'd be cool. You can go up and tour, take visits, that type of stuff. Of course, when there's not a global pandemic going on, I'm sure. But very pretty building, neat place to go up and see. The General Assembly is the name for our legislative branch. So just like we call our legislative branch of the federal government our Congress, in Indiana we call our legislative branch the General Assembly. There are two houses, just like there is in the federal government. We have a House of Representatives and a state Senate. It also does the same thing. It has the power to create laws. It also has the power to impeach the governor. So set up in kind of a similar style. In Indiana, as I mentioned with the executive branch, the governor presentation, the legislative branch is widely considered to be the most powerful branch of our state government. There are two houses. In the House of Representatives, there are 100 members. You have to be a minimum of 21 years old to be a representative in the state of Indiana. You have to live for a year in the district you represent, and you can be elected to an unlimited amount of 2-year terms. So kind of mirroring what's going on at the federal level, just here with the state level. You've got a map there for you of the districts, and those are based on population. So the smaller the district on this map, the more people actually live there. So in the bigger districts, they're trying to get the same number of people. Those are redrawn every 10 years when we do a census. So that'll actually be coming up. And so what the population does there is it gives us more representation, obviously, for the more populated places. You can see places like Indianapolis, Evansville, up near Gary, where the most people in the state live, have the highest concentration of representatives. In the state Senate, there are 50 people. You have to be 25 to be a member of the Indiana State Senate, and you get a 4-year term. So that's a little different than what we see at the federal level, but you get 4-year terms. The lieutenant governor of the state serves as the president of the state Senate, and so they can break ties. So same way the vice president of the United States does that for the U.S. Senate, the lieutenant governor does that for the Indiana State Senate. The lawmaking process for the state is a little different. What's going to happen in the state of Indiana is we have these committees, and you can search. I put a couple of examples for you at the bottom of the slide, but you can search. There are standing committees, there are special committees that come in, and these committees can be made up of 5, 10, 15 of the people in that particular house, and they decide or make bills on that particular area. And so it gives the legislatures a chance to become experts in particular areas of legislation. This is not a full-time job for these folks. The Indiana legislature only meets. They meet the first Tuesday after the first Monday in January, I think. And so in even number of years, they meet for a little more than 60 days. In odd number of years, they meet for just 30 days. And so they've got an awful lot to get done in a very short amount of time. You get about $23,000 for serving in the General Assembly, and you also get an amount per day for going up to each session. So it's not something you're going to get rich doing. Like I said, these guys have other jobs that they'll be doing for the rest of the year. But these committees will make laws, and then the laws go to the floor of either the House or the Senate, wherever it is. And then, of course, just like in the federal government, the other chamber has to approve it, and then it goes to the governor for the governor's signature to be put on there. But there's an education committee, which obviously is a teacher's one that I pay a little more attention to. than others. There's also a public health committee of the General Assembly, which I'm sure will be focused on a lot in 2021 as that session gets started with all this pandemic stuff that's going on. You may hear a little more about that than usually you would. What we've got for you here, there's an assignment up on Canvas about how the General Assembly actually had a power taken away from it by the U.S. Constitution. And so I encourage you to head there and check out that article.